Good morning, students. This is the third revision video for class ninth, and here we are going to discuss two important topics, two important chapters: poverty as a challenge and natural vegetation and wildlife. So after analyzing both chapters, we'll be in a position to understand the questions related to this chapter. So let us discuss this chapter. First of all, we are going to discuss poverty as a challenge. So here it is mentioned that first of all, we are going to discuss that what is poverty, what is the proper definition of poverty. So we need to understand here that poverty is the lack of basic human needs such as nutrition, healthcare, education, clothing, and shelter, and because of the inability to afford them. So we need to understand that poverty is basically the simple term. It is a simple inability to purchase all these things. So it is the lack of ability to purchase all these things. It is termed as poverty, but it is only the limited meaning. If we are going to talk in broader terms, we need to understand that it is the lack of human satisfaction. It is the mental status. Even a person who is earning 20,000 may consider himself a poor person, or if a person is earning 1 lakh per month, he may consider himself as a poor person because his expectation is more. So it is nothing but the mental status. So we need to understand from this point of view. But so far as definition is concerned, we have to understand that it is the lack of ability to afford the basic things. Now, we need to understand what is the situation. What we should understand, we have to understand that what is the condition of poverty in our country, in India. Every fourth person in India is poor. That is quite true. 260 million or 26 crore people in our country are poor. It is quite large figure. If we are going to compare this data with the other countries, we have to understand this figure is quite large. This figure is quite high. India has the largest single concentration of the poor in the world. Poverty in India varies from state to state. The rate of success for poverty reduction is different from different state to state, thus causing interstate disparity. So if we are going to compare, if we are going to analyze the ratio of poverty, you will find that the different states are having their different results. Like if we are going to talk about Bihar and UP and Odisha, you will find that result is quite different if we are going to compare with the result of Punjab, Haryana and Kerala. So here in those states, the states are much ahead in terms of development, whereas states like Bihar, Odisha are lagging behind. So here there is a interstate disparity in terms of poverty. Now, so many factors are there for responsible for the reduction of poverty in those states, and so many factors are also there for the reduction of poverty or for the upgrading of poverty in few states like Odisha and Bihar. So we need to understand all these things in detail. Now, we need to understand that if we are going to talk about the disparity, if we are going to talk about the lack of infrastructure, if we are going to talk about the backwardness of few states, we have to understand that there are certain reasons for the poverty as a whole. So first of all, we need to understand one by one what are the causes of poverty. So first cause is the British rule. The problem that we are facing today, its root lies in the British period. When the Britishers came, they turned our entire economic system in their own favor. And from there the problem started in our country. They ruined our small scale enterprises, they ruined our handicrafts, and this is how they created problems for us. After that, they moved all our resources towards their country, and this is how they created a lot of poverty in our country. India was known as the golden bird. There was a time when India was known for its wealth, but Britishers slowly and slowly they diverted all the resources towards their country. Now after that, the village economy is also responsible. Most of the economy is based on village economy or agricultural economy, and that is why production is quite less. Similarly, there is a high growth of population in our country, so there is always mismatch in demand and supply, and because of that the problem is always rising. And there is a problem of unemployment also. People are not getting employment, so how they will generate the income? And if they will not generate the income, how they will circulate the money in the market? And if the money will not be circulated in the market, how can we expect the economic growth? Similarly, social factors are also there. Lack of proper industrialization is also there. No industrialization, no output, no production, no export. As a result, no foreign exchange. As a result, we will cut from the foreign trade. Similarly, social factors are also there. People are more more inclined towards the caste, towards the religions, towards the religion, towards other social issues. So that is why economics, the condition will get hampered. Apart from that, India's economic policy is also responsible. Our economic policy is not oriented towards poverty or poor person. That is the main cause. It is now more oriented towards privatization or private ownership or private industries. Similarly, neoliberal policies and their effects also caused lot of problems for the poor person in our country. When we accepted the concept of liberalization and globalization, we created problem for the poor person. Now poor person are not getting job. They are becoming more, they are now living in more pathetic situation. So the question is that if you are going to talk about poverty, then what is the measurement? How we can measure? So there are certain mechanisms through which we can measure, and one of the mechanism, one of the method is the poverty line. So basically, poverty line is a imaginary line. It is a common method used to measure poverty based on income or consumption level. So here two important levels are there: income and consumption level, and based on that, the poverty can be considered. If a person is earning the income or any particular consumption level is there in terms of nutrition, then that person is above the poverty line. And if any person is earning below that or he is taking less nutrients, then he is considered below poverty line. Now if the poverty is a problem, then you should understand that it is not only that India is getting affected from it. It is a global challenge. It is a global challenge, and we need to address it globally. So here it is going to cause the political instability. Because of poverty, political instability will be caused, and because of political instability, poverty will develop. So here cause and effect both are there. Similarly, lack of implementation of laws. So many laws has been made to remove the poverty, but so far no laws has been implemented on the real ground, and because of that, poverty is still very severe or very active. Caste system is also one of the reasons. Upper caste is not going to take care of the lower caste. Lower caste is still struggling under the poverty. Similarly, no unification is there, no patriotism is there, no interest for the rich to feed the poor, and that is why the gap is still widening. There is no reason to fulfill the gap. The rich are getting richer and poor is becoming poorer. Similarly, government is not providing subsidy to the poor person. It is a truth that it is not providing that they deserve, and at last the poor are not employed. The poor person not getting job, and because of that they are not getting facility, and because of that they are not able to fulfill, they are not able to become part of the economic activity of the country. So this is all about the poverty. Now come to the next chapter, that is about geography. It is the natural vegetation and wildlife. We need to understand here that if we are going to talk about natural vegetation, it can be classified as flora and fauna. So flora will consist of all the flowers, all the vegetation, and fauna will consider all the different types of animal life. So here it depends on land also and soil also. Different types of soil and different type of land will provide different types of flora and fauna. In other words, different type of vegetation will be found, and it depends on land and soil. Now if we're going to talk about the importance of forest, we need to understand here that because of forest, climate will be modified, and it is going to control the soil erosion. Similarly, it is going to provide livelihood. Fourth, it is going to provide recreation facility for the tourist, and it is going to provide certain tools or goods for the industries like paper industry, and of course at last it is going to give the medicinal herbs. So there are a lot of things that can be produced from the forest, and we are getting much from the forest. Now if we are going to talk about vegetation, natural vegetation, it can be further classified into 5 types: tropical evergreen, tropical deciduous, tropical thorn, montane or mountainous, and last one is mangrove forest. So we need to understand here that tropical forest, if we are going to talk about tropical evergreen forest, so what is the special about it? Here the rainfall is more than 200 centimeter, and the height is around 50 meters of the trees, and it is found in western slope of Western Ghats, northeastern states. And here the important trees are ebony, mahogany, rosewood, rubber, and cinchona. And what is important about this particular type of evergreen forest? There is a time limit for trees to shed their leaves, therefore they remain green all the year round. That is why these are termed as evergreen. Now come to the deciduous forest. These are called the monsoon forest, and here they will receive 70 to 200 centimeter of rainfall, and trees are almost 30 to 45 meters tall. And here lion, tiger, deer, elephants, these varieties of birds animals are found in this particular forest. Now come to the mangrove forest. Here these mangrove forests are influenced by the tides, and basically these are grown near the deltas of Mahanadi, Krishna, Godavari and Brahmaputra. Particularly in the Ganga Brahmaputra delta, you will find the Sundri trees, and they provide basically the durable timber for construction of various furnitures. Palm, coconut, etc. are grown in here, and particular type of animals that are found in this region is Royal Bengal tiger, crocodile, and snakes are found. So this is the mangrove forest. So we discussed much about all the different types of forest, and we came to understand that how the natural vegetation has been classified. So this is all about in this video. Thank you so much.